when you feel ill, you think, oh, I wish I felt better. What did it feel like to be like not ill? But then when you feel good, you don't really think about, oh, I feel good now, but you just feel better, so you don't think about it.
You're not grateful for the time you are,
Yeah, and that's kind of the thing I always think about. When you are doing well, kind of acknowledge you're doing well, so that when
also, when you're ill, rather than thinking, I always think about this just to throw this extra bit in there, rather than thinking, what's it feel, I want to feel good, how about thinking about, like, what could I do to make me feel that little bit better?
Yeah.
Do you know, and again, that's appreciating the steps to get back to good, right? But yeah, I like what you're saying, because people don't look at when I'm good. They don't shout about it and be like, I'm good.
Exactly. Like, I think with like that analogy, if you are doing well in life and you're accomplishing goals, obviously you'll be happy at the times you're doing it, but if you don't properly kind of process and think about it, when you are going for that kind of down path and not doing so well, you'll just probably dip off a lot more than you would normally, because you don't appreciate that you can eventually get back to doing well, and you didn't really take it for granted. And like people say, don't take it for granted. Take it for granted. You've worked hard for what you're doing, and appreciate what you put in to get there. Like obviously, but lots of sports people, they put a lot of work into it to what they get to, and when you or me or anyone else gets to a certain point, everyone else who's been in that similar situation knows what it took to get there. So again, they can appreciate that. I think everyone's so much more interlinked than they've realised, because I guess a lot, well, I see it on TikTok a lot, no one has like a new thought. Everyone kind of experiences the same things throughout life, I think. So when it comes to, I've experienced this, most people have probably experienced it, but to us in a similar situation. So it's kind of like everyone can appreciate the small things.
Yeah. But as well, going off on that, it's different per person, isn't it? And that's the thing that I think sometimes when you think you're going through a hard time, or, you know, or it could even be the other way where you're going for a really good time and someone else is also doing that. So actually it's like, whether it's good or bad, like, you're not the first one to feel that way.
Yeah.
But it's just that you see it in a different way, because you're you, I'm me, but we're all ourselves, aren't we?
Exactly.
What sort of things do you, like, because obviously autism is so... It's so big, isn't it? So broad. It's so different for every single person. You know, you can have 5 autistic men, same age, you know, similar lifestyles, and they're all different, right?
Yeah.
But what's your sort of traits, if you want to call them that? What's your... Because remember when we spoke a while ago, you were talking about food, weren't you? Like saying chicken.
Oh yeah. So when it comes to, this is for me personally, but a lot of autistic people will probably experience similar things. So with autism, your kind of senses are kind of different.
Well, they say they're bigger, aren't they?
Yeah. So like, depending on the sense, like sound, if like someone has a Hoover on or a hand dryer, obviously most people probably won't annoy them or that, but it actually hurts my ears. Yeah. So if I'm in the kind of a public bathroom, and then I go and use the hand dryer, I'm like, I gotta prepare for it a little bit, because like I know it's gonna hurt my ears because the decibels and that kind of stuff. And then when it comes to like,
just before you move on from that, for some people that will sound crazy. Yeah. Right. And the thing is, obviously, as you know, I recently got diagnosed with ADHD. I feel I wouldn't go to the extreme of that, but if something, you know, if we're in a restaurant and someone's talking, and I've locked onto them, I that is it. Then I'm game over. I'm listening to them for the whole. Yeah. And they're sort of things that I've actually had all my life and not realised what it was. Like, Sarah just thinks I'm being ignorant twat, but you know, it's one of those things. But or it could be something that someone's annoyed you, and that's it. Then I've got to say something.
Yeah, exactly.
Do you know what I'm trying to say? But you know, for just because obviously what you're saying there, that sounds crazy, doesn't it? What you've just said.
Yeah, to probably the general public, I think, oh, why is a hand dryer or a Hoover?
Yeah, but
like
just actually explain that. What, like, because I mean, I've looked into it and I understand it, but it's just interesting for people to understand.
I guess with sound, I guess the best kind of example I can use with like pain tolerance and like for like I guess general things, like if someone slapped me across the face versus probably like did that I'd probably react more to like a little pinch than a slap, because I kind of processed that stimuli differently. So if someone hears a hand dryer and they're drying their hands, they just don't really think about it. But I'm probably hyper focused on that because I know it hurts. It's going to be even worse because I'm expecting it to be bad. Yeah. Whereas if I was drunk I wouldn't care because like you don't really
Your
kind of process
senses
it.
are
Yeah.
less, aren't they? Yeah.
So if I'm in the toilets drunk and drying my hands, it's fine because my senses are less. Also, I'm not thinking I'm drunk. But if I'm in a gym or if I'm in public and washing my hands under a dryer, drying my hands under a dryer, I'm prepared for it, and then you think about it too much and you hyper focus, that kind of stuff.
So you will use a hand dryer, yeah?
I will use
using
hand
that
dryer.
just one thing as an example. You're just preparing yourself ready to go and use it.
Yeah, it's a bit like when I don't know, you're about to get like you're getting a massage or acupuncture, for example. When they put it in like that certain spot which is really tight, I mentally prepare by like grabbing the bottom of the bed or something. I'll do something so that I can still do what I need to do, but without affecting it badly. So it's a coping mechanism, I'd say.
Yeah, I agree. Yeah. Sorry, I just wanted to
It's all right.
dig into that because it's interesting, isn't it, to think about it and actually also question yourself is quite.
Yeah, when like for example, like with that topic, I don't really think about it much, but now when you kind of dig into it, you kind of opens up a lot of thoughts in your head that you don't really think about, I guess.
Yeah, but as well, off the back of this, I'd love it to help other people, you know.
Yeah.
And that's what this podcast is massively about. Bringing real life, you know, it says real life shit for a reason. You know, it's bringing real life shit to the table.
Yeah.
And within that journey, there's going to be, you know, because so many people could say they think they're autistic, they think they're ADHD, they think they're bipolar, whatever. OCD, you know, how many people would you go, oh, I've got OCD? It's like, have you actually got OCD, or have you got some OCD tendencies?
Yeah.
Yeah, it's like everybody has certain traits of ADHD. Everybody has certain traits, and I believe that like massively because, you know, over the last year I've studied ADHD obsessively, like just to understand more and more about it. You know, for me, I got diagnosed with it simply because I was, you know, I'm 33 years old, but I was struggling. I felt like I was struggling in certain things, and the more I read up about it, the more I realised that there could be a relief of understanding things. You know, and this is what I find really interesting because being 14 was 14 for you.
Yeah.
Being 14 and learning it, the brain is not developed. As much as it. So I find this really interesting, and that's why, if I'm completely honest, I struggled quite a lot. You know, six odd months ago. You know, like a lot of stuff happened behind the scenes that I never really said to people, but it's all because I was trying to understand 33 years of my life. You know, whereas for you, you've gone from 14 to now 21.
So like another half of what that life was.
Yeah, and but again, you've had such an intense path in that period, haven't you?
Yeah, I guess clarity behind yourself is very important. If you know a lot about yourself, then you can work on what you're gonna do. So if you know you do this because of this reason, or you will think that way because of whatever you do have, it makes you feel more at ease, I think. So if you're more at ease, you can just do more. If you're overthinking too much because you don't understand it, you're going to overthink more and it's going to spiral out of control. I think no matter if you're autistic or not, if you overthink and you don't know why you're overthinking, it could get to the point where you just want to sit in bed and eat ice cream and just do nothing.
You question yourself all the time, don't you?
But if you know that it is you and you're going to feel that way every now and again because it's like, it's normal, then you can kind of cope with it differently, and I think you can then move on from it and progress, not regress.
Yeah,